Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Bolt City Podcast. Dave Palet, Josh Palet, Mario Herron just finished playoff weekend as we just wrapped up the Philadelphia Eagles in one of the most disappointing fashions, losing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All the games are final this weekend. We know what the matchups, the times, when, everything is going to take place next weekend, which should be really exciting as we get closer to the Super Bowl. But guys, I'm going to start the show off with the question I asked you just a couple of days. Would you rather be the Chargers or would you rather be the Philadelphia Eagles? The Eagles started off like 10-1, completely S the bed the rest of the season. And right now, question marks and finger pointing all over the place on far as what direction you go. But would you rather have the season the Eagles had, or would you rather have the season the Chargers had where you realized, hey, we just got to start looking forward now because what we have isn't working?
I'd rather be the Eagles. 100%. You're less pieces away from being a contender. The Chargers have so many holes on their team. It's like Shia LaBeouf from the movie Holes is running this organization. It's horrible. The team is a nightmare right now. I'm happy about the fifth pick. Jim Harbaugh's coming, or at least I tell myself that's what's going to happen. But the Eagles, I think you got to get rid of. I would get rid of Sirianni and AJ Brown. It seems like Sirianni's not a great head coach, and AJ Brown is a nightmare. So I think closer than the Chargers, obviously.
I much rather, I'm with you, Josh. I'd much rather be the Eagles. I think the Eagles are in a tough spot, though, because they showed this graphic today. They kind of an era ending in a way of their defensive front, offensive front. Lane Johnson's probably done. Kelsey's probably done. Cox is probably done. Graham's probably done. So that is the end of an era. Going to need new leadership in that locker room. I do think leadership is strong, though. So you do have Jalen Hurts in that locker room, which I think is really going to help. I am probably one of the few that's thinks this, and I'll stand by it. I think St. Nick needs to come back next year. I don't think he should be fired. I really, really don't. I think every head coach goes through this where you kind of hit the peak of your powers, then everyone wants your coordinators, and it's hard to kind of refuel with good coordinators, and you're going to have a little bit of a down year. Regression was coming for this Eagles team. They, were almost like too close to perfect last year. They had a little older guys this year. They had some issues. Every team has their issues. I think it's a little – I get that this coaching pool we have right now is very, very talented, Dave, but I think he's done enough. He's led you to enough. He's been successful enough that he deserves to come back for another year.
I think it's very tough to fire a coach after he just took you to the Super Bowl. Now, the Eagles obviously have done this before where they get rid of coaches that go on to do better things like Andy Reid. But Philadelphia is a tough sports town. To me, it's the toughest sports town in the United States. Everybody, basically their skin is very thin and they want everything fixed right now, which is weird because the city doesn't have a history of being champions. Right? The Philadelphia 76ers let you down. The Phillies let you down. The Eagles let you down. It's what that city does. They let you down. It happens all the time. So Philadelphia fans, I know it's tough. And the reason it's tough, it's the NFL. And there's a salary issue where, you can kind of gear up for that open window. The Rams did it a few years ago. And guess what? It paid off. The Rams won a Super Bowl by taking a gamble of going, this is our window. Well, Philadelphia says this is our window. I mean, the money has been put out there. As you just said, Mario, they're about to get rid of a bunch of guys that are either going to retire or they just aren't going to pay their contracts. Josh touched on the name for a second. AJ Brown's always been a distraction. I mean, every receiver in the league at some point or another, if you're a star, usually become a distraction. AJ Brown was a distraction before this game even began. I'm not saying he's the reason why they lost, but it sure as hell didn't help when he's a storyline that he's scrubbing his social media accounts of anything having to do with the Philadelphia Eagles. He did the same thing in Tennessee. This is what this guy does. And I'm watching Devontae Adams out there and I'm going, Devontae Smith out there and I'm going, Devontae Smith is your perfect professional football player where he's great at what he does. He's a number one, never complained that AJ Brown gets targeted as much as he does. But yet he goes out and he just plays the game and does what he's supposed to do. Yet the guy on the other side is a distraction. Philadelphia Eagles, I think that window just slammed shut today. And I don't know if Sirianni is the right head coach. I mean, there are a lot of things I know I just said that Josh is going to touch on. But the question you always have to ask yourself, is there somebody better than Sirianni for this team? Is Bill Belichick better for this team? Is Mike Vrabel better for this team? You have to sit there and go, what are our steps going forward to fix this problem? Because Philadelphia finishes the year as the most disappointing team in the NFL. And I'd say more disappointing than the Dallas Cowboys because people say, what about the Cowboys? The Eagles were the team everyone thought had the cakewalk to the Super Bowl in the NFC.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Eagles are the most disappointing team in the league, especially starting off We were saying on this show the Eagles might be the best team in the NFL, and then they have this horrible downfall. If Mike Vrabel's available, Mario, you wouldn't want to replace Sirianni with him? You'd give Sirianni one more year?
Yeah, he took you to a Super Bowl and he got you out of like a little slump. He helped Hurts progress. Like that's all that to me points to that he deserves to stay. I understand a little bit of a panic, like if the Cowboys decide and your arch rival decides to fire McCarthy and then they go on Belichick. I understand that little panic decision you have to make, but like I think Philadelphia. You touched on it, Dave. So you know how they say like fans love you one day and they hate you the next. Philly's not like that. Philly is we love you 1 hour and then 1 hour we want to stab you. That's Philly. That's exactly what Philly is. So I think that's what Philly's going through right now, Josh. And I just think like just give him one more chance with this talented team. Just one more chance.
Okay, I'm going to keep
talented
asking
do
you
think they are?
questions. Who, the Eagles?
Yeah, I mean, after all these guys leave next year, are they rebuilding? How talented are they?
Jordan
I still
Davis,
think they're
Jalen Carter.
I still think they're one of the most talented teams in the league. I think a lot of it falls on Jalen Hurts. Like, what kind of quarterback is Jalen? I don't think anybody could tell you right now Jalen is this in the NFL. He's an unproven player. I know he's had a great season last year and he was good this year, but Jalen Hurts, can he win you games throwing the ball? That's the question that's always going to be on Jalen. And that's not Nick Sirianni's fault. I don't think it's anybody's fault but Jalen improving. And I think Jalen's going to do that. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Eagles are incredibly disappointing. The Cowboys are right there behind them as being incredibly disappointing. Same division. The Packers own the Cowboys. I think Dave's the one that told me this today, that the Packers have more wins in the Cowboys Stadium than the Cowboys do in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
In the postseason,
That is amazing in the postseason. That is the most
winning
amazing.
a Super Bowl there.
Yeah, which is incredible. I mean, even the Des Bryant catch, I think, was in Lambeau Field. Like the Packers just own the Cowboys wherever it is. I love seeing these teams lose. I hate the Cowboys. I'm not a big fan of the Eagles. I like Jalen because I know him, but that's just how I am. I don't root for any of these big juggernaut teams. I root for the underdogs like the Bucks and the Lions and the Packers. So that's the way I look at it.
I don't know, man. I look at this Philadelphia team.
Go, Dave. Yeah.
No, I just said I look at this Philadelphia team and I'm thinking no matter what they do next year, are they more talented than the 49ers? They aren't. I mean, the Niners still will be the favorite going into the NFC season next year. They just have it figured out. Philadelphia had major problems tonight. The way that game ended, when you see guys who start pointing the finger and screaming at the quarterback on the sideline, never a good sign. I mean, most people know that Jalen was banged up, and if it was a regular season game, he probably doesn't even play tonight. But he understands it's the playoffs and he's going out there. But when you have no-name guys screaming and pointing their finger at him on the bench, that was shocking to me. I mean, that is a bad sign right there. And so I don't know if it's a new head coach that changes the message, but it is strange to think that you would fire your coach just a year after barely losing the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think when you see these guys pointing fingers at each other, that falls on Sirianni. Like, what kind of ship do you have here? I mean, these guys hate each other, it seems like. The Eagles have had more turmoil this season than any team in the league, I think. I mean, they fight all the time, on the field, off the field. I heard the locker room that they have is a nightmare. So I don't know if that completely falls on Sirianni, but he's the one that takes the blame because he's the head coach.
And like you said, like the previous Super Bowl, you're in a really big market. So any little issue is a big issue, right? So like if a little tiny thing they hear about in the locker room is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So if there's a big issue in the locker room, that is size of, freaking Asia continent. Like it's a big issue. It's a big problem. It's going to cause World War III. Like you never know. So it's one of those things like you just kind of have to be aware of, like when you're dealing with a team like the Eagles. If you had to bet your money, who do you think's more unsafe right now, McCarthy or Sirianni?
McCarthy.
Yeah,
McCarthy's going to get
packing
fired.
his bags. Yeah,
man, I'm surprised McCarthy wasn't fired today. Now it's kind of crazy. I mean, we would kill for a coach that goes 12-5 every year, but it's the Dallas Cowboys, And let's be real about this. When we talk about this on this show, I've told you guys that I made a pact with myself 2 years ago that if I turn the television on and it's Dallas Cowboy talk, I immediately change it because I don't want to be any part of ratings that go to Dallas Cowboys because basically the study is Dallas Cowboys get ratings. Ed Werder used to work in Dallas covering the Cowboys for $1 million a year because they were the number one story at 3:00 West Coast time for Sports Center every day. And so it's always the study is that the Cowboys equal ratings. And so when people go on and say, I'm shocked the Cowboys lost, well, you're the one that put all your time into the Cowboys. I'm not putting time into the Cowboys. The Cowboys haven't done anything since 1995. Okay, so here we are. We're 29 years away that this has happened, where you're going, all right, enough of the Dallas Cowboys. Let's move on to the teams that deserve the attention. There's some great storylines always in the NFL, but it's always focused on the Dallas Cowboys. And because Mike McCarthy couldn't step up to do the job and take him to the next level, I think he's out. I think anywhere else he probably keeps his job. But I think in Dallas, he definitely has to go. So the question is, who's the next guy that Jerry Jones falls in love with? Because Jerry Jones had people in his ear all night, every time that camera was on him, just whispering in his ear of what his next move is going to be. McCarthy, by the time we do our next show, I fully expect Mike McCarthy to be looking for a job.
Who do you think is his replacement? Do you really think it's Bill Belichick, like people are saying, or do you think that's just like a smokescreen?
I'm going Bill Belichick. If
You
it's
think
Jim
it's gonna be
Harbaugh, I'll
him?
be furious. But if I think it's Bill Belichick. I think he likes the big names. He did it with Bill Parcells. He likes the big names. I'm not saying Bill Belichick's gonna win it for him, but I think it's Bill Belichick.
All right, let me throw the question right back at you though. If both jobs are available, which one would you have, the Eagles or the Cowboys?
I would take the Eagles job.
You
And
would
I
take
think
the Eagles over the
Belichick,
Cowboys?
roster wise, I think I would take the Eagles. I don't know. It's a great question. I think I'll go Eagles. I know Belichick today came out and said that the Falcons and him have mutual interest in each other. But come on, the Falcons
I
aren't
don't
even in
get
the
that.
conversation when you consider
That
those two
doesn't
Get
make
teams.
out.
no. What do you got, Mario? Which team would you choose?
Oh, Eagles 110%. I don't want my owner to talk about me on radios every day about my job security.
That's lame, right?
That'd be all.
That's just a lame.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
really
lame move.
lame.
I don't care
It's
how
so
rich you are,
weird.
who you are. It's weird, right?
Yeah.
I'm a grown man, dude. He has his hand up McCarthy's ass and works it like a puppet. I hate that, right?
Yeah. I can handle my own PR. Like that'd be my argument to Jerry Jones. Like I can do my own. You can sit back and eat your salty McMuffins.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, right? I mean, it might be perfect for Jerry to bring in a guy like Bill Belichick who doesn't like to talk to the media, and Jerry loves talking to the media. He just wants to coach football, and that's always what Jerry wants. I just want a guy that's going to coach football and let me jump in front of the camera.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what happens there.
I don't know. I'll tell you guys exactly what I think of when I watch these playoff games. I watched almost every single game. There's some that I really just do not care about, and I was busy, but I mostly watched all of them. These tight ends went off this weekend, and I just keep thinking Brock Bowers. That's literally all I keep thinking when I see Dalton Kincaid has a great game, Sam Laporta has a touchdown, Musgrave has a touchdown, Cade Otton for the Bucs has had a big game. I'm just thinking Brock Bowers. I just want Brock Bowers to be a Charger. Malik Neighbors, I would love that too. But I think the Chargers desperately just need a tight end when I watch these games. All these good teams, including the Ravens and the 49ers who didn't play, have great tight ends. I really think the Chargers just need a tight end.
I was about to say, to build off your point, just think about the two teams that didn't play, right? Mark Andrews and George Kittle, like two great tight ends again. It's evident that in the playoffs, you see what is a foundation for a successful team. It's a really good tight end. And it's a really good play caller. And it's a really good coach that's good at game management. By the way, all-time terrible game management. We're hit this game later, but by McVay in that Lions game. I mean, holy hell, way to poop your pants, buddy. Hopefully you're wearing a diaper. Yeah, it's Brock Bowers. I hope and praise coming our way. Should be huge for the Chargers. I also, guys, when I was watching this weekend, along with the Eagles and the Cowboys in terms of like job security, there's another team that I couldn't stop thinking about. What if this guy's available? What the hell is Steelers going to do? Because right now I think they have two options. You either part ways with Tomlin and go, let's go full tank and full try to reconstructure. Or I think your other option is you call the Bears and you annoy the hell out of them until they give you Justin Fields. I think you're playing simple. I think that's the only two options. Like, I don't think there's any other options, Dave. And if Tomlin's available, he goes right above Bill for me, and he goes right above Rabel and right above Harbaugh. And I'm going to kiss that man in the cheek because I want Tomlin more than all of them.
the Steelers would be fools to get rid of Tomlin. They would. And he was asked that question today. It was the last question asked in his press conference about having 1 year left on his deal. He just walked right off. I'm not talking about this here. He just walked right off. I mean, the guy never has a losing season. Tomlin's outstanding. You want to blame Tomlin? Let's blame the front office. I mean, again, we've talked about this on the show. No team has put more money into their defense in the history of the NFL than the Steelers. Yet your best defender wasn't there today in TJ Watt, and things didn't look great. At the same time, no team has put less money into their offense than the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Pittsburgh Steelers run the offense. This is an offensive league. We've talked about this too, that this is why you go with offensive coaches. Look, guys play hard for Mike Tomlin. There are two guys in this league that, to me, guys play really, really hard for. Actually, I put Pierce in there now too, the Raiders. But these are pro athletes who everyone says, oh, they're only interested in the check. People play really hard for Vrabel, and they play really hard for Mike Tomlin. They do. I mean, Mike Tomlin's got these guys to play extremely hard. The roster is flipped over. There's not one player on the Steelers roster that was there when he first got the job, yet he doesn't have losing seasons. Let's be honest. The Steelers had no business being in the playoffs this year. None.
None.
And here they are playing the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. I mean, it's amazing the job that he has done. The Steelers would be absolute fools, and it would go almost outside of everything the Steelers organization has been since 1970 when it comes to head coaches. You've had Chuck Noll, you've had Bill Cowher, and you've had Mike Tomlin. That's a hell of a run. And they're all of a sudden you're going to throw Mike Tomlin away. I honestly, watching all three of them, because I've been around Mario, Mike Tomlin's the best one out of all of them.
I agree 100% with what Mario said. If all these coaches are available, Mike Tomlin has to be at the top. He's just a phenomenal coach, like Dave said. He wins no matter who's on the roster. You watch that Steelers team today, and you're like, this team actually sucks. This team sucks. And it was hard to watch. That team is not good. But Mike Tomlin's a phenomenal coach. One thing that also confuses me is the people in our comments that say, what do you guys think about Mike Vrabel? I don't get it. What has he won? Have you ever watched the Tennessee Titans play? I know you did, because you watched the second game of the season when the Chargers lost in Nashville. That team sucks. And even when they were the first seed in the AFC, they won with a bad team, with bad quarterbacks. How do you not think Mike Vrabel is a good coach? If the Chargers get Mike Vrabel because Jim Harbaugh for some reason falls through, you should be ecstatic. Ecstatic. All you Charger fans that are doubting Mike Vrabel, don't. I think he's going to be great wherever he goes next in his coaching endeavors. Like I said, though, he's going to go to the Commanders. I have a feeling about that. But I don't understand the hate on Mike Vrabel. And if Mike Tomlin's available, like Mario said, you have to have him at the top of your list. He's one of the best NFL coaches of all time.
Of all time, and he doesn't understand losing. Like, he just doesn't understand it. Like, it's something similar, I think, between Tomlin and Vrabel, and why I think it's very easy to love them. They take rosters and they take situations where I would say 99% of other coaches in the league would fail and would kind of, I don't want to say turn into tank, but would almost kind of go toward the tank. And they still just found ways to win and found ways to be successful and found ways to make sure that their team's in that right spot for the playoffs. Now, the downside of that is you're not going to make it far in the playoffs. You're going to have a little bit of chances, but not really. And, Tomlin's 7 straight years without a playoff win. Those last couple years of the Big Ben, I mean, my Lord, Dave, I know you only have like one bicep right now, but I would take you with your bicep throwing the football over Ben Roethlisberger. Like, oh my God, could he not throw the football? And they still found the ways into the playoffs. And you look at those two coaches, and I think that's what you need because they're consistent. Like, they're just consistent guys that give you a consistent product and constant wins. And we have Herbert right now. And what does Herbert need? Consistent coach that gives you consistent wins. And put Tomlin with Herbert together, you're going to get a Super Bowl because you got a Super Bowl with Big Ben. I think if you can get a Super Bowl with Big Ben, Dave, you can get one with Herbert.
I agree. Well, I tell you what, last thing I'll say about Mike Vrabel, too, because he's one of those guys, no matter where he goes, if the Chargers don't get Harbaugh, I honestly believe Tomlin won't be available. If they don't get Harbaugh and Vrabel ends up on another team, whether it's the Raiders or the Commanders, wherever he ends up, I'll be disappointed because I'm like, we missed out on a really good coach. And again, I do pay attention to that team. As I told you, my dad was a season ticket holder. Dude, he's had nobody at quarterback. I mean, you're talking Will Levis, you're talking Malik Willis, you're talking Tannehill, you're talking Blaine Gabbert. Yeah, Mariota. I think he might have had Jake Locker.
Malik Willis.
You've had some terrible quarterbacks. He's had nothing to get Justin Herbert. Look, for people who want to hate on that guy, to make Josh's point, name 2 Titans outside of Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, 2 in the last 5 years. You know how hard it is to name anybody off that roster? That roster has always been one of the worst in the league. Yet they had the best record in the AFC just 2 years ago. They're the number 1 seed. They play really tough. And guess what? They play Kansas City really tough. The Titans beat the Chiefs all the time. Rabel does a really good job. I'm shocked. I didn't know about Gerard Mayo already had written in his contract that he was the next Patriots coach. I had no idea during the last show when I made the comment that I thought it was Rabel's job without a doubt. Also, I thought it was interesting that Ohio State wants Ryan Day fired and they want Rabel going back to coach his alma mater. I thought that was interesting as well. But Josh might be on to something that he's the new Commanders coach. But if he ends up with the Commanders or Raiders or anywhere else and the Chargers don't get Harbaugh, I'm going to feel like we might have missed out. We might have missed out on somebody right there. Now, another guy that's been mentioned for the Charger job that we've mentioned at least is Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Lions. The talk is the team that has the most interest in him is Tennessee. Tennessee is waiting for him to become available. So for the Chargers, look, as we do the show today on January 15th on Monday, 2 weeks from tomorrow is the official time where guys can start, I guess, signing contracts. If you're a current NFL coach, if you're a college coach, there's no rules on it at all. You can go ahead and hire a guy right then. But for the Chargers, we know a couple things. We know 3 coaches were looked at today. Jim Harbaugh was in LA today. Steve Wilkes was in LA today. Leslie Frazier was in LA today. So for the Chargers, boom, the 3 interviews, already taken care of.
Yeah, Mario, guy Steve Wilkes got an interview. Pretty hyped about that?
I am up about that. It's hey, I'll stay with Wilkes. Frazier, I'm all set though. Thank you, Frazier. Thanks for making the trip out. Go back and enjoy whatever you're doing. I think that guy says, by the way, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say I don't know if Frazier says more than 50 words on a sideline.
When he loses his job, does he go down goes Frazier? Is that what he says?
God, that was right there. That's a good one.
All right, I got a name for you. This guy right here has had the best last couple years of anybody in football. Okay, it's Todd Monken. He's the guy from Georgia, and he's the guy for the Ravens who calls the plays. Are you interested at all? The Chargers could hire him as their next head coach, or you want to stay away from him?
Dave, a little too quick to rise, maybe, with him. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what scared me with Staley. Like when people think of Staley's faults, his rise was too quick, right? Like Fernando talked about this on a show. He's like, he just kind of really jumped ahead. And I think sometimes when that happens, you either sink or swim. And holy hell, did he sink? So I think I love Todd, love what he's doing with the Ravens, but I think like a 1 more year of success, and then I would be like, okay, now we're ready to really go. Kind of Ben Johnson kind of did the same.
Know what I like about both those guys? They both use the tight end in their offense. Going back to their Brock Bowers deal. I mean, the Chargers, again, going back to Gates, going back to Kellen Winslow, the tight end is always such a mismatch for defenses. To have the good tight end, we've seen it with Kelsey, we've seen it Gronkowski. It makes such a big difference on have a tight end that has some kind of IQ that knows how to get open, that just sits and finds the open space, and then you continue to move the ball down the field. Helps with drives, helps with touchdowns. It's just big. It's overall a big deal. I love the fact that the Ravens, their first option is the tight end.
Yeah, and it has been the whole time Lamar's been there. Isaiah Likely, the backup tight end, is even doing well in the Ravens offense.
Absolutely.
I know we said that we want a head coach. The only exception we'd make as a coordinator turning into a head coach would be Ben Johnson. But Todd Monken, for me, would be like the 4th best option behind Vrabel, Johnson, and Harbaugh. I'm really happy the Chargers conducted the interview today with Harbaugh just to get that over with. Not that I didn't think it was ever going to happen, but you just want it to happen. Every day you scroll on Twitter and you're like, when are they going to interview Harbaugh? But I'm happy it happened today. Mario, do you think there's an ETA of when the Chargers make a decision? Do you think it happens within the next week?
I had to guess next 2 weeks, right? Next 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
There's going to be a decision. Obviously, let's get Vrabel in there and let's get a conversation going with him right away. That's I think my big one is let's make sure we talk to Vrabel and see where his head's at, see what he wants, see what he's interested in. I would also be willing to hold out a little bit to see what happens with the Steelers. Like I would watch if I'm John Spanos. I watched this past weekend. I saw the presser. and I go, hey, let's keep all parties interested, but let's monitor the Steelers. Let's see what's going to happen over there, because I know I've said like 500 times already, but I would just jump on that faster than anything, Dave. Like, I would be on the phone so quick. I would live in Pittsburgh. I hate Pittsburgh. I think that place would suck to live in, but I would go live in Pittsburgh and live in a Motel 6 and just stalk the Steelers organization.
So here's my guess, Josh. When the decision is made, Harbaugh was in LA today. Harbaugh will be back in LA again. This isn't just a one and done. This is one that's, to me, it's going to drag through. I mean, Harbaugh was in LA exactly 2 weeks ago, today, and then he's back in LA now. This is going to go on for a while. This is what his agent Don Yee's going to do. If he gets a chance, he's going to interview with the Raiders. There's certain teams he's going to talk to, and he's going to play the game to get the most amount of money. You will not hear a new Charger name, I don't think, until maybe the rumors come out exactly 2 weeks from tonight is when you hear, Josh, is that you're going to hear the rumors of what they're going. If I'm the Chargers, I said we have a timeline. We want to make a decision in the next 15 days, and we aren't going to sit there and play this game while there are other options out there for us. But, I'm not one of those guys that's, at the table negotiating, but I let them know that, Jim, I understand you want the best deal. We want the best deal too, but we can't be left with nothing. And so we've talked to other guys that we're really high on too. You're the first on the top of our list, but we aren't going to let this play out for a month. This has to be taken care of in the next 2 weeks. And so I think 2 weeks from tonight will be the rumors start getting out. Chargers expected a name so-and-so as head coach on Tuesday, whatever that day is, the 30th.
Wouldn't you like the Chargers to do their due diligence, though, and interview 3 other people? Mike Vrabel, like we said, Ben Johnson, whenever the Lions are done. I mean, maybe you don't even wait for Ben Johnson because you want to hire Jim Harbaugh. And then Antonio Pierce, would that be somebody that you'd want to interview?
You know what? Sorry, Mar, I'm going to cut you off right here. This is a really smart move. Antonio Pierce has already been requested by the Titans to talk to him. I think the Falcons have requested as well. If you're the Chargers and you really want Harbaugh, you're crazy not to bring in Antonio Pierce. You bring him in because you scare the hell out of the Raiders and you going, man, if we don't sign Antonio Pierce as our next head coach, a team inside our division is going to sign him. You play the game. It's a game of poker. Whether you have any interest in him at all, you got to bring him in for the interview just to scare the Raiders, because guys like Max Crosby already said, I'm demanding a trade if Pierce isn't back next year. You got to scare the Raiders to get your guy. They're going after your guy. You got to go after their guy.
Yeah, screw them over. Up theirs. I'm 100% for it, especially when their best player they've had in the past decade. I say now I want to request a trade if he's not hired. Yeah, scare him a little bit. Mess with him. There's no skin off your back. So I think, yeah, 100% do it.
All right. Have you ever seen a coach get hired from a team within the division when he said, I am a Raider for life, or fill in the blank, any team? I'm a Buck for life, and then gets hired by the Falcons? Like, that doesn't happen. Like, how weird would that be if Antonio Pierce was the head coach and he's a diehard Raider fan? Isn't that weird? Or does it just not matter?
That's weird. I'm trying to think.
That's weird, right?
Yeah, it's weird.
Your coach loves your biggest rival. That's not weird.
I'm trying really hard to think if that's ever happened, but that is very, very strange. It'd be very weird and uncomfortable. And you're set up to be cursed for life, being the other team that's like, I'm a whatever for life. Whatever that team is going to be so cursed against that guy for the next decade.
What's worse, Mario? Antonio Pierce, if he becomes the Raiders coach or the Chargers coach, like being weird, or when Josh Gordon had number 12 Gordon tattooed on his back, and then Tom Brady was his teammate and he had to give up his number?
Oh, wow, that's a good one. God, that's a good one. Probably Josh Gordon thing, because it's on for life.
Dude, it was huge. It was like his jersey. It was basically his jersey on his skin.
Yeah,
number 12.
I wanted that when I was a little kid. I wanted to get that, and my parents said that's not a good idea. And that's why you don't get tattoos when you're 14, kids.
Wait a second. You're gonna get yourself or a player you're a fan of?
No, I wanted 17 Herron on my back. That was the number I wore, and I wanted the Jordan logo on my left arm. So just please picture that if that would have fell through.
I'm kind of down for the Jordan logo. Is that weird?
Dude, the
I mean,
Jordan logo,
logo's
I
cool.
thought was pretty cool. Yeah, I wanted that right there, and I wanted to put the shoe like right there.
Yeah,
Kind of
see,
sick.
the
Yeah,
Jordan
could have
logo
been
is
white
cool.
trash, but could be cool.
The deal is, even Michael Jordan doesn't have the Jordan logo on his body. Like it's kind of like he doesn't even have it. Why would I do it? You know?
Who was the
Right.
guy that somebody had a tattoo? Some fan had a tattoo of somebody, and they showed the guy, and the guy said that is weird. And like, dude, that has to be the worst thing of all time. When you show the
Oh,
guy
Dude,
you
my
have a tattoo of them, and they diss you. Do you remember who that was?
my buddy did it in high school. He got a
What?
tattoo of the Eagles' Greatest Hits album, Volume 2, and it's an ugly cover of. It's really ugly if you look it up. Eagles'
yeah.
Greatest Hits Volume 2, and he met a dude in the Eagles and showed him his tattoo, and he says, "Dude, it's the ugliest album cover of all time. Why would you do that? That's a huge mistake." And he's like,
Oh my god.
"I did it for this guy, and this guy told me I made a big mistake." Like he was devastated. But bet,
Oh,
hey, here's the best tattoo story. A real
I know you're
close
gonna
friend,
say right now.
a real a real
Vikings?
close friend of mine was in Tampa watching it was the Ravens Giant Super Bowl, and he had a little too much to drink. So he's a Vikings fan, and he went in and got a tattoo of the Vikings logo on his arm. And as soon as he walked out, some guy goes, "Hey man, that's an awesome Hulk Hogan tattoo." He won't show it to anybody. It's been on his arm for 20 years. He won't show it to anybody, but it's funny as hell when he compared that Vikings logo to Hulk Hogan.
that's amazing.
All right,
Oh,
Mario.
gosh.
I got a serious question for you.
Okay,
Are you going hot dog with the bun, or are you just going straight up hot dog?
just straight up hot dog. Just straight
How,
up
how we
hot
do?
dog salad.
How are we gonna
I wanna
do
do a
this? How are we gonna
bun so
monitor?
bad.
Do we have a timer
This is
going every 5
yeah,
minutes?
this
How we
is
doing
how it
this?
works. This is let's be honest. This is why everybody tuned into the show. Okay.
Okay.
We had to sit there and play off the bet. This is the way the bets went. Okay. For some reason, I picked the goddamn Miami Dolphins. Mario picked the Chiefs. Mario won that one. Okay.
Yep.
We're dead heat in that one. I picked the Texans. Mario picked the Browns. I won that
Yep.
one. Okay. Then a different game we had, I picked the Buffalo Bills to cover. Mario picked the Steelers. So going into the game tonight, I knew right away, well, I wasn't going to lose the bet, but I could tie and push this thing to another week. And so I had the Buccaneers. Mario had the Eagles. Buccaneers covered, won. Eagles were favored in that game, believe it or not. So Mario now has to eat a hot dog every 5 minutes on the next show that we do. Okay. So trust me, if you don't have a timer, Mario, I'll have a timer. Okay.
I bet
But
you will, pal.
So here's where I'm going to let you off the hook. All right. I'm not
No.
going to filibuster. Okay. I'm not going to filibuster. I'm going to tell you right now, this show is going to be 1 hour. You're going to eat 12 hot dogs in 1 hour. That's what you're going to do.
No way. You can't eat
It's gonna
12 hot
suck.
dogs. What if you can't
Like,
do it? What do we do?
I really want to use like bread, but the problem is I've said this before. I want a very strict cheat day thing. So like finding healthy hot dog buns before this happening, it's gonna be a very tough one. And the reason I'm on it is because I have to get a belly button piercing and then show my stomach a lot, and you can't show your stomach after 12 hot dogs that are like the dollar ones from I don't know, fill in the grocery store. So it's gonna be a strategy, guys. I don't really know what we're gonna do, fellas. My plan is to fast the whole day until we hit that. So I'm like really, really hungry and kind of get going on them. We'll put a lot of garlic on it or some type of seasoning. I don't really
Yeah.
know.
Here's
Put
here's
garlic on your hot dog?
Ooh,
all right. Let me give
I'll
you.
put garlic on eggs, baby. Come on.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a tip on this. All right, on how I would do it if it was me. This I already thought about. Honestly, I thought I was going to lose. I told you I had no faith in my picks this weekend.
I wasn't prepared to lose either. So like I thought it was. Let's go on.
Did I have 30 hot dogs in the refrigerator right now, ready to go? I thought for sure I was losing. No joke. Josh was a witness. All right, I thought for sure. So here's what I recommend. You boil the hot dogs. All right, don't eat them when they're really, really hot. You let it cool down for a good 30 minutes. Am I right, Josh? And then boom, no problem. You'll be able to throw them down like potato chips. Okay. Don't eat them too hot and don't eat them too cold. Just got to be almost a little bit better than warm.
Yeah, and this time put it in your mouth, not like that party trick you do.
Yeah,
Just do it normal this time.
Yeah, we've heard stories about that. Yeah, all of them in the mouth.
Anyways,
make sure that they all go down my throat.
What's the punishment if you can't eat 12? What are we gonna do?
I
What's the
think I could
punishment?
eat 12, dude.
He's
I think I'd
gonna
be able.
do it.
I think I could eat.
Dude,
I
that's a
think
lot
I
of
could eat
hot
12.
dogs. That's a lot of hot
Mario's
dogs.
a man. He's not gonna pee out on this. He's gonna do it. Mario's
Yeah,
Mario's
I
gonna
think I
be
can
fine.
get it.
The deal is
So
this:
hyped.
it's either 12 hot dogs or until you throw up. Okay, and I don't want you to throw up.
I can get 12. I can get 12. I
But
think
it's
I can
one
get
every
12
5
easily.
minutes, so it has to fill up a little bit in your stomach. You can't just go, I'm gonna eat 4 at a time, right? What do you think, Josh? You can't just go 4 quick ones.
No, one every 5 minutes. That's the rule.
Every 5
That's
minutes.
the bet we made.
That was the bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is gonna make it more
I-
difficult.
Yeah,
Can I
because
cut
you're
them
gonna start
up?
filling up.
My plan is to cut
You can
them.
cut it up. Yeah, go ahead.
To cut them, and then that was my other plan.
Okay.
I'm not
You
gonna
got
want some
look,
food
I'm not
tomorrow.
calling you a cheat. I'm not calling you a cheater, but if you cut them up, you got to show us them cut up, and then you got to show us when the bowl's empty or the plate's empty. Don't start throwing them out from underneath where we can't see, and you start throwing out like ends and stuff.
I'm gonna be very honest. It's very smart for you guys to say all this stuff because if there's a way to cheat, I'm warning you. I will cheat it. Like,
Yeah.
I am not. Yeah,
I think
I'm
you made
not a
that
man of
very
my
clear
word.
on the last show that you would cheat. So
Yeah.
thank you again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I will get. Yeah.
Why do you have to
I'll get
cut
the
it
hot
up?
dogs.
What's
What?
this cut up stuff? Why are you cutting it
I don't
up?
know. I don't know why I thought the cut up. Well, cut up I thought could be easier to cook
What?
because it takes less time to cook. But then that was just.
Hot
Boiling
dogs.
hot
What the hell
dogs
are we
takes
talking
like
about?
15
I'm
minutes.
gonna air fry. I'm gonna air fry them because then they're crispy.
Oh my gosh.
And they're gonna taste
I
better.
think you're gonna screw this one up, man.
You think I'm
gonna
gonna screw this one up?
I'd rather you just pull out a full hot dog and you eat one at a time. It'd be better
Okay.
for video. It'd be better
Okay,
for
I'll
video.
do that. I'll do that.
And you got to keep the
Praise
hot
be.
dog in the shot so we know you aren't throwing them out the window.
All right, I'll keep the hot dog in the shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. When do you get your belly button pierced?
Wednesday at 3:30.
Isn't it 1 degree in Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's
So
been a couple of
Okay.
issues. Yeah. So we talked about this pre-show. I cook a lot, so I like to keep my window open so like it gets all the smells get out or it attaches to your clothes and you smell like you work at a restaurant. So I thought I shut my window all the way and I didn't. I left it decently open and I was wondering why I felt like an igloo in my apartment this whole time. So I like went and got a heater. My cousin slept in like my main area and like went out to the hallway in the middle of the night because he was so cold. So I was like, God, man, maybe this is just how he's gonna be for the winter. And I go towards the window and I just like give it a little bit of muscle and it moved. And I go, huh, that's weird. And then I just like kept pushing it and then it fully shut. And I texted my cousin, hey, that's on me. That's on me, fella. So make sure you shut your windows or you're at 1 degree or -6 degrees. Your apartment's going to be really cold.
Oh my God, dude. That's the best way to get people to stop staying at your house. Is just sit there and leave the windows open. It's 1 degree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, stop cooking with garlic so you don't have to open the goddamn window.
Garlic's good, dude.
Dude, aren't you single?
Yeah.
Shocking.
What's up with all the garlic?
What do you mean, dude?
It gives you bad breath.
Dude, also you
No
sweat it through your
way.
pores.
Garlic gives you the worst breath.
Yeah. Don't you know?
Dude.
You can only eat garlic if the girl's eating garlic too.
Really? Dude, it's like my favorite seasoning.
Dude, those are the rules. Honestly, you can't eat onions on a date unless the girl's eating onions too. You can't eat garlic unless the girl's eating garlic. Then it sweats through your pores.
Dude, I put a lot of effort in a good breath, though.
Well, good luck.
I will say that.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
life lesson. We're learning a
Dude,
lot.
you're such
today,
a nice
fellas.
guy. People don't tell you have ass breath. That's how nice of a guy
Yeah.
you are.
Damn. I really hope not, because I tell people right away if the breath smells.
Okay.
You better friends.
It also sweats through your pores. Okay. Just to let you know.
Yeah, I'm not going to be.
Since you're living the single life, I just want to let you know. Really? I want to let you
I'm not
know.
going to be sweating at a bar.
Well,
I'm
I'm not saying
sweating
at
on
a
a-
bar. I'm saying other places. How about
Okay,
putting some
yeah.
effort in?
Dave and I know this girl that will not shave her armpits. They'll just go there, will not shave her armpits, and then she tells us that she's, can't understand why she's single. And we said, well, you don't shave your armpits. So once you fix this breast situation, you'll be good. You'll be fine. You're gonna have the greatest summer of your life coming up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I could have a
Chicago
date coming
summers.
up. I do have a date coming up too with a belly button piercing, which is also going to be very entertaining.
You're gonna
See
show
how
your
that
date. You have a
goes.
belly button piercing.
I don't know yet. I haven't thought that one through.
Dude, you
It
got it.
could.
She'll
I think
never
it'd be a
text you
good
back.
joke. I think it'll be a good
never text
joke.
you
No,
back.
no, I'm
It-
not. I'm not gonna show it before, but I'm gonna show it like
Yeah.
things go well, and you're
What are
like,
you gonna
"Hey,
say?
I don't know yet, dude. If you think I have a plan, I'm more than happy to wing it. Wing the whole thing.
Dude, I like you going to a bar with a belly button piercing and showing people in the bar. I think it's a great pickup line.
I was about to say, if done right, it can be used to a very good advantage. If done right.
What?
Yeah.
I don't
You know?
understand what you guys are talking about. How could that be to your
The
advantage?
conversation starter.
It's a conversation started right away, and it's you have a joke right away. You're making people laugh right away. It's
Yeah,
things
he's a
are
good
going.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a
good
fun guy.
guy. Change
Good
it
hair.
to you're gonna buy me a drink. Like, let's buy me a drink. I'm already suffering enough. Ha ha ha. What do you want? See?
Keep us updated.
Yeah, we'll do.
All right, Mark, I got to ask you, since none of us have a team in this thing this weekend, which loss bothered you the most? Which game bothered you the most?
Ooh. Jordan Love being really good and the Packers winning.
Really good.
Really hurt.
I'll
Dude,
take back
he
everything
looked.
I said. I
Yes,
took back everything.
Dave. I almost called you at the end of it
Yeah.
and going, "Hey, man, I'll delete it."
Dude, I will never
I'll
say a
delete it
negative thing
all.
about Jordan Love again. I swear to God. But I will say this. I called out every other bad quarterback before the season began. I was right. The only one I missed on was Jordan Love. And man, I loved watching him play football. I was like going, this guy is incredible to watch. And he was. I have nothing negative to say about him. Every other quarterback, Ritter and Atlanta, everyone else, absolutely terrible the entire year. But Jordan Love, holy cow, man. He was really, really good. I enjoyed that game a lot.
You want me to answer your question? Which one
Yeah, answer
bothered
my
me
question.
the
I'm going
most?
to tell you which game
Mhm.
bothered me the most.
I already know what you're going to say. The game that bothered me the most was Chiefs Dolphins because I hate the Chiefs, and I was rooting for the Dolphins because I like Tua and Jalen Waddle because they're Alabama guys. So that one's the only one that I really cared about. But I know what you're going to say. I know which one bothered you the
Yeah.
most.
This is gonna bother Mario when I say it. It's the
Okay.
Rams-Lions game. Okay. For some reason, the 2023 season, I think, is going to be remembered as the year that the referees became a storyline in too many games. And when people go, well, evened out for the Lions because they got ripped off against the Cowboys, that was a different game, man. I'm sorry. That was a regular season game. That didn't end the Lions season. Nakua, who, by the way, when you watch him play, oh my gosh, is he outstanding. Now, I don't know how many people watch the Rams games this year, but we talked about him almost every week because compared him to Quentin Johnson. He's so good. His hands are so good. He's so good yards after the catch. But man, the blatant pass interference 3 times on one play, on a play that meant everything to the Rams that ended their season. I was like, how do you not call it? How do you not call it? You could have got him on the bump. You could have got him on the jersey pull. You could have got him on the contact before the ball got there, but yet nothing's called. And I hate to see any team get screwed over, but I tell you what, I'm a McVay fan. I know, Mario, you aren't. But to think that he's been this successful with 2 Super Bowls and all these division titles and playoff runs, and he's never had a first-round pick his entire coaching career is insane. I think you got to tip your hat to McVay that he's one of the best coaches in the league. And the thought of him saying he was going to retire a year ago or 2 years ago made you wonder, like, is the NFL missing out on somebody that's good for this league? I think McVay is good for this league.
Quick thing to add to that too. Stafford should have probably had a couple rough in the passer penalties.
It sure
Can
did.
can we get more consistent with that, by the way? Because I think there's only 4 quarterbacks that actually get that call, and the rest of the quarterbacks are just told to kick rocks.
The first 3 are named Mahomes. But yes, you're right.
Yeah, literally. And Allen, of all the quarterbacks, Allen gets them. Allen.
Please.
Ugh.
Hey, all right, let me ask you a question, Mario. Are you for it or are you against it? Matt Stafford getting booed.
Ooh. Kind of against, because I think it felt more like a mutual decision than him being like, I want out, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. You know? Like it felt really more like that than like I want correct me if I'm wrong. Do you guys remember Stafford at all going, here's my list of teams? Like he wasn't that type of guy.
Never. He wasn't like that at all.
Yeah,
He gave
like, they
everything
were
to Detroit. I didn't understand the booing at all. It didn't make any sense to me at
No.
all.
Yeah, I don't like it. It was the second worst booing of the week, actually. That
Knew that was
and then
coming.
Jerry Reinsdorf's wife was,
Yeah.
or excuse me, not Reinsdorf. Reinsdorf's the owner.
Kraus.
The general Jerry Krause's wife getting booed was ridiculous. That was sad. That was really
bad.
sad.
Jerry
Also,
Krause
just-
is the one that passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he
His
passed
wife
away.
got
It was
booed?
Yeah.
Thelma. Yeah, she was visibly
I missed
upset. It was sad. It was one of the worst things I've seen in sports. I thought it was terrible.
Then why are you laughing if it's so sad?
Me?
No,
Yeah, why are you smiling?
I'm not laughing. I'm looking at Mario going, that's your city. That's your team.
Okay. Let me explain. First off, the reason to laugh is not at that situation. The reason to laugh is how piss poor that Bulls Ring of Honor thing was. Like, it was Rodman, Pippen, and Jordan all didn't show up. So that's the three biggest names that you need to come. And they didn't go.
Did
So
Kukoc show up?
Kukoc was there. Kukoc was there.
Of course. He's the reason she got booed.
Yeah, Bobby Love was there. He was like the best player before Jordan. So like
Yeah.
he was there. Kerr was there, obviously. Warriors played that against the Bulls that day. Wellington was there. I'm trying to think of who else. Like most of the guys from that decade were there, except literally the three biggest names that needed to be there. Horace Grant, I don't think was there either. I don't know if he really got
Luke
invited.
Longley,
was
he there?
Longley was there. They did a lot of
Ron
stuff
Harper?
with Longley.
Ron
Harper was there. Ron Harper
Was there? That's cool.
Yeah, Ron Harper was there. But needless to say, that's like the Patriots doing a Ring of Honor. And like Brady doesn't come. Trying to think of who else. Yeah, like Gronk didn't go. And I don't know, Edelman. I'll throw Edelman in there, or vice versa, someone else. I can't really think of it. That linebacker that they had for a little bit. Like
Teddy
they didn't
Bruschi?
go. Yeah, Teddy Bruschi. Like all three of those guys don't go, and you're like, all right, this is a waste of time. So none of those two guys show up. They show Krause's wife, and everyone just boos. Like it's not like a low boo, like it's a loud boo. And she's like crying, and it was very sad. It was very messed up. Stacey King, shout out to him. He like ripped the Bulls fans on the broadcast about it. It was bad. Not a good look for Chicago. And shout out to the Reinsdorfs for screwing up the Ring of Honor. So shout out to them.
Dude, hey, here's something to think about. Imagine if the Raiders brought in Bill Belichick for an interview, and Tom Brady's at the table doing the part of the interview process, and it says, "No, you
Wow.
aren't the guy.
That'd
You
be
aren't the guy."
crazy.
Because Brady's now one of the owners of the Raiders. To sit there and tell, or if they hire Belichick, goes, "Now I'm your boss. Now I tell you what to do."
Wow. Tables have
Feels
turned.
kind of
reversed.
weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels kind of weird, doesn't it, Bill?
Interesting. He's not going to the Raiders, by the way. I mean, he's not going to the Falcons or the Raiders. No way.
I don't think so either.
I put my life on that one. I'm not putting my life on that, but there's no way that happens. No way.
I agree.
Wherever he goes, he wants to bring Josh McDaniels as his OC.
Go ahead.
Dallas.
They're a great duo.
The Raiders, like, we're already paying him, so we aren't going to. It's fine. Bring him in. He's already on the payroll.
You know, we never
be
talk
the
about who
OC.
the Chargers are going to hire as their OC if they hire Harbaugh. Like, do we know? Like,
No.
Kellen
Yeah,
Moore's not staying, right? There's no shot Kellen Moore's staying with the Chargers. Is he?
No, because they'd want their own guys. But I think Bieniemy would be perfect, right?
Bieniemy and Harbaugh?
I have no idea. I'm not going to even throw a name out. I don't know. I just where
Todd
I think
Monken wouldn't
Jim's-
do it. I don't think he would. I think he wants to be a head coach or go back to the Ravens. I don't know.
Yeah, he's not going to steal a coach from. Well, he would steal a coach from his brother. Jim's that kind of guy. Kind of respect.
He would
him
do that.
for it.
He stole his. John stole his DC.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is true.
he would do it. Yeah, Jim would do it. Jim would just
Also,
raid
there's
the
a lot
Ravens.
of sodium in a hot dog. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, I know. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
my wife was concerned about. She was afraid of that. I was going
Yeah.
to get sick doing it.
I'm looking up right now.
It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. We're going to do this on Thursday when we do the next show. It's going to be Hot Dog Thursday. I can't wait. Are you going to show us the piercing to your belly button too?
Yes.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. You can show us before you start eating the hot dogs, before you get bloated. Otherwise, you look like a
Yeah.
fat bastard.
Yeah.
All right. It's going to be good, man. No, team wasn't. All right, last question I'm going to ask you guys before we get out of here. What team are you now rooting for to win the whole thing with 8 teams remaining?
Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions. How could you not root for the Lions? The worst franchise in the NFL. Lions.
Yeah. Lions and Ravens.
That's who you want to see, a Ravens-Lions Super Bowl?
Yeah. I'll take
Josh,
that.
give me your AFC team. Who are you rooting for?
I hate all the AFC teams.
I'll go first. I'll go first.
Okay, go.
What do you think about it? I'm going. This is going to drive Mario crazy. I'm going Packers in the NFC. Howard Jordan Love because I ripped the hell out of him for too many months, and I'm going Buffalo Bills in the AFC. 2 of the smallest cities in the NFL.
Yeah, the NFL would love that for rating. Or I guess Bills have a lot of fans.
I think it'd be fun.
It'd be cool. I'd go maybe Texans because I like D'Amico Ryans.
Texans. All right.
Probably Ravens. John Harbaugh just seems like an awesome human being, so probably Ravens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ravens
like
Packers. Mario wouldn't know who to pick.
I would go Ravens because I like Harbaugh. I like John Harbaugh, so I'd go Ravens. I wouldn't bet it though. Save my life.
All right. Oh my gosh. So we'll be back on Thursday. Mario's going to eat. We're going to talk more about the games coming up. Josh is back in on the picks because he took this week off. But thank goodness for Baker Mayfield. Never thought I'd say that in my life. But hey, thank goodness for Baker Mayfield. If you're listening to the show, Bolt City Podcast, the Odyssey app, we appreciate it. Again, through the YouTube comments, you'll get your answer to who's going to eat those hot dogs on Thursday, where Mario will start boiling, but we'll be ready to go. And I'm excited. There's a part of me that wants to eat along with you just because I think I could do it, but I'm not going to because I won the bet. So
good radio.
It'll be
two
exciting.
Guys chewing.
it'll be exciting. I can't wait for Josh's screenshots when you're eating these things. That's why cutting them up kind of stinks too. You got to eat them all.
I won't cut them up. Cut them
up. All right. So we'll be back. Thanks again for listening to the YouTube channel as well. So for Mario Herron, Josh Palet, I'm Dave Palet. We'll see you on Thursday.